Alright folks, how you doing? So, I'm going to be reacting here to the ridiculous opening scene from Armageddon, you know? This is so silly. But then what do you expect from Michael Bay? I mean, he's basically the king of big dumb movies with misogyny and explosions. Let's put the volume up a little bit. So this is the intro for the movie Armageddon. Which, like Braveheart, was a really good movie, but falls apart very quickly when you think about it. By the way, just want to say this movie's soundtrack is freaking awesome.
This is the Earth at a time when the dinosaurs roamed a lush and fertile planet.
By the way, just in case anyone wants to know, do I believe dinosaurs existed? Yes, I do. I'm not a flat earth nut, or what's the latest one where Australia doesn't exist? Hollow earth maybe, but no, I don't believe in the flat earth. I may be crazy, but I'm not insane.
A piece of rock just 6 miles wide changed all that.
Okay, so we've got the glitzy special effects and all this, and it looks really good. And the awesome soundtrack, and you got big Chuck Heston narrating. I mean, talk about a guy who could read the phone book, you know.
Chariots of fire?
Well, I love all that stuff, you know, Romans and horses and chariots. I love that Charlton Heston.
Does this make sense when you think about it? A piece of rock 6 mile wide destroys the whole planet? Not really. I mean, that's kind of the same thing as if you dropped a penny off the Empire State Building, it would kill someone at ground level, sort of thing, but on a much larger scale. I mean, the fact it says a Michael Bay film should automatically tell you to switch your brain off right there and then. Now, would this thing cause a hell of a lot of damage? Yes. Would it destroy the whole planet? No, of course it bloody wouldn't.
With the force of 10,000 nuclear weapons.
Even 10,000 nuclear weapons wouldn't blow up the planet, by the way, even if you believe nuclear weapons exist. That's another thing as well that's been wiped off of YouTube in recent years, is the whole theory that nuclear weapons don't even exist, which I find pretty interesting. I mean, how come they've never actually been used in the last, what was it, 70 years? And if they had been used, then how come they haven't blown up the goddamn planet? You know, we're still here.
1 trillion tons of dirt and rock hurtled into the atmosphere, creating a suffocating blanket of dust the sun was powerless to penetrate for 1,000 years.
Okay, if that's true and it wiped out all life on Earth, then how come it didn't wipe out all life on Earth? I mean, there's a whole theory that birds evolved from dinosaurs. I don't believe in evolution, by the way. Nor do I believe in creationism. I believe that we were seeded on this planet. You know, it's like that that episode of South Park where the Earth is basically a TV show for cosmic enjoyment.
Our planet is just a reality TV show?
Well, you don't think the whole universe works the way Earth does, do you? No! One species, one planet. There's a planet of deer, a planet of Asians, and so on. We put them all together on Earth and the whole universe tunes in to watch the fun!
That's probably the closest depiction of life on Earth that I've ever seen in a TV show or a movie or media in general. But, you know, even if you did believe in evolution and all the rest of it, and you're perfectly entitled to, or creationism, or any of the other traditional models of belief about how life apparently evolved on this planet, it didn't. It came from outside of this planet. But leaving that to one side, if it killed everything, and then how come it didn't kill everything? If the sun was powerless to penetrate this cloud for 1,000 years, then how come we're here? You know? I mean, just, you can pick this apart at the basic level.
before, it will happen again.
Mate, it happens all the time. If you read the riddle of the Earth and the mysterious comet, it happens practically on at least an annual basis. You know, because the Earth is 75% water, maybe more than that. When we get hit by like meteorites and, you know, all that sort of thing, we hardly notice. You know, as Beaumont points out so correctly, you know, the source of volcanic activity and earthquakes and plagues and all this sort of thing, typhoons, hurricanes, tornadoes, is all to do with atmospheric reaction to meteorites. So we get hit all the goddamn time, you know. It's not like we get hit once every 65 million years or something like that. We get hit pretty regular, especially because there's this asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. We're in a shooting gallery, basically.
It's just a question of when.
I don't get into all that. You know, the asteroid belt used to be this planet called Man. Another name for it was Lucifer, all this sort of thing.
Stand by, Chewie. Here we go. Cutting the sublight engines.
We come out of hyperspace in a meteor shower. Some kind of asteroid collision. Not on any of the charts. What's going on?
Our position's correct, except there's no Alderaan.
What do you mean? Where is it?
So I'm trying to tell you, kid, it ain't there. It's totally blown away.
I'll get into all that progressively down the line. But yeah, that massive asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter puts us in a lot of danger. That's basically the reason why the Earth is so fucked up and why we have so many storms and tornadoes and shit like that. It's because of this big fucking asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. That's a lot to do with it. Comets have a great deal to do with it as well. Armageddon is a movie that doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you start to think about it. And if you go on to the IMDb, what's the very first thing that we read here? NASA shows this film during their management training program. New managers are given the task of trying to spot as many errors as possible. At least 168 have been found. Yeah, at least. It has to be well over 200 by now. Even NASA is saying that this is totally bullshit. And this part here. What the hell? Fucking calm down! Fuck's sake. This part here. Regarding the film's premise, Ben Affleck asked director Michael Bay, wouldn't it be easier for NASA to train astronauts how to drill rather than training drillers to be astronauts? Well, let's have a look at that scene.
I asked Michael why it was easier to train oil drillers to become astronauts than it was to train astronauts to become oil drillers, and he told me to shut the fuck up.
So you have even the film's actors, one of the film's main stars, questioning the logic of this movie because it's so nonsensical.
So that was the end of that talk. He was like, you know, Ben, just shut up, okay? You know.
Yeah, this is a typical leftist answer to any sort of question. You know, I don't know if Michael Bay is left-leaning, being, you know, given his background in Hollywood. I would guess he probably is. It would seem a safe enough bet. But that's the typical leftist response to any sort of rational argument. Just shut up, all right? It's a real thing. Just shut up. Feelings.
Well, this is a real plan, all right? I was like, you mean it's a real plan at NASA to train oil drillers? He was like, just shut your mouth.
I'm surprised he wasn't fired off the movie for this, by the way. But probably he was too big a star.
See, here's where we demonstrate that, because Bruce is going to tell the guys that they did a bad job of...
So I'm surprised, but really I'm not surprised.
...building the drill tank. He did a piss. See, he's a salt-of-the-earth guy. And the NASA nerdonauts don't understand.
Nerdonauts. This gives me a whole new appreciation for Ben Affleck. It really does.
And his salt-of-the-earth ways, his rough-and-tumble ways.
Nerdonauts.
Well, that's because your cans are all...
Like, somehow they can build rocket ships, but they don't understand, like, what makes a good tranny.
Ben, you're way too smart to be an actor, mate. Your talents are wasted in Hollywood.
We've been training for 8 months solid.
I mean, when you read that he wrote the likes of Good Will Hunting and that, it's not a surprise. You know, him and Matt Damon. But yeah, Ben Affleck has a way higher IQ than your average Hollywood star, I would suggest, just from this commentary.
8 whole months? Well, pretty much, yeah. Gee whiz. Well,
Like 8 whole months, as if that's not enough time to learn how to drill a hole. But in a week, we're gonna learn how to be astronauts. Oh, 1 whole week? Now you know how to fly into space? I need my guys. Why do you need them? They're the best.
CinemaSins need to be sending checks to Ben Affleck and get him to do their analysis, because he'd be really good at it.
Everyone's the best. Why are they the best? I don't know. They just are.
I'm only the best because I work with the best. If you don't trust the men you're working with, you're as good as dead.
As good as dead? You're not robbing a bank, mate. You're trying to destroy an asteroid. Nobody's going to be shooting at you. Just the way he's phrasing that. Oh, it's a dangerous job. You're going to be as good as dead. What, are you robbing a bank? No, dude, you're flying up to a big rock in space and trying to drop a bomb in it. Who wrote this shit?
I want to send these boys into space, fine. I'm sure they'll make good astronauts. But they don't know jack about drilling.
I mean, this is a little bit of a logic stretch, let's face it.
A little bit of a logic stretch. It's a massive logic stretch. This whole goddamn movie is a massive logic stretch, but it's not really meant to make sense. It's popcorn and brainlessness.
They don't know jack about drilling. How hard can it be? Aim the drill at the ground and turn it on.
Right? Really? Exactly.
You think it's just drilling a hole? There's a lot you gotta know about. And when you're gonna snap off an edge in a tranny on a corner of a hot pipe, and you're gonna get a gas pocket. Like, yeah, well, what about when the booster rockets don't fire and your EVA suit and your zero gravity, you know? Didn't you see Apollo 13, boy?
Yeah, really. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this little analysis, if you want to call it that. Thanks for watching.